Just a reminder. Just a reminder.
What's up, hot? You do, yeah. I'm built this. We level. No stress, regret, renaissance, yes. Hurt to the feminine one. Oh! Ow. Hurt to the feminine one. Oh!
Just a reminder.
Nobody prepares you for life after a Beyoncé concert. 1 second you're in the stadium, you're having fun, you're dancing, you're singing with everybody around you, you're looking at her on stage, she's doing her own thing, she's doing the choreography, you're doing her choreography, you're trying not to be, when she points out, you ain't no diva, you're trying to dodge her so she doesn't point at you and you won't get embarrassed or whatever, you're having a good time, right? And then after maybe 2-3 hours, you see her, she gets on the little red car, she's flying all over the stadium. You're just looking at her like, please don't fall, please don't fall. There's some crazy ass fans in the stadium. Like, please, stay safe up there. She gets off, she says her goodbyes, and boosh, the lights go dark, and the show's over after 2-3 hours, and now you're heading home, you're trying to process everything, you're full of adrenaline, you're feeling that rush, and you're still like, okay, that was literally like Beyonce right in front of me, right? Like we were both breathing the same oxygen, or at least that's the way I like to think of it, right? Now you're at home, you're trying to sleep, you can't sleep because your adrenaline is just on 100, and you're just sitting there like, okay, how am I supposed to process life after this? What do you mean I have work tomorrow? What do you mean I have to go get a oil change tomorrow? What do you mean I have to go grocery shopping tomorrow? Like, life after Beyonce is just very euphoric in a way, if that's the word. It's just very, I don't know. I just feel like after a Beyonce concert, I feel like it should be like a holiday. I feel like you should have like maybe 4 days off just to process everything and kind of just, come down from that high of Beyonce, because it's a whole celebration, right? So I remember when she first put out the album or the tour, one or the other, she loves posting stuff at like 1 o'clock in the morning, right? And all of a sudden I see Beyonce, and I think it was the picture of her with the white braids, and I'm like, oh, here we go. What's going on? I remember my adrenaline rush. My blood was just going all over the place. My nerves were bad. I was shaking because I'm like, okay, what is she about to do? What's happening? Like, when is this tour happening, right? Already, I started looking for outfits. I started Googling everything. At first, I was gonna go with chaps, the assless chaps, but I was gonna have some short shorts underneath, because I'm classy. But I knew that I wanted to do a different look compared to my Renaissance look. And I went with cow print. I had my outfit completely ready ahead of time. I'll put pictures up here. And, honestly, Beyonce is the only one who could get me to wear anything red, white, and blue. So I had my, nails painted blue and red and, with white here and there. And I'm just like, okay, Beyonce, anything for you and only you, because any other time I would not paint myself this way. But okay. We'll go along because it's, the United States of Beyonce. So I show up, everybody, first of all, let's talk about the outfits, because I love seeing the creativity with the fans and, the theme and everything, because I feel like, in my opinion, Beyonce, and this is just me, I feel like Beyonce is the one who started the whole, there's themes to concerts, because first it was Renaissance. After that, all the stores started putting out, glittery, sparkly things. Now the same thing for Cowboy Carter. It's all Western, cowboy hats. I have never, ever, ever worn a cowboy boots or, anything like a cowboy hat like this ever at all. So Beyonce, for her, I'm willing to try things out. And, I still have my cowboy boots. So, I don't think if it wasn't for her, I probably would never have a chance to actually wear those. Look at my rings. So it's the cowboy boot, the cowboy hat, and the horseshoe. And my nails were red and blue. And so when I got there, everybody looked cool, everybody looked beautiful, everybody looked so nice with their outfits, like everybody looks good. And, we were all there, I was taking pictures with my friend, I sat down. My friend had got a ticket last minute, so she was 3 rows in front of me, so I was alone, and I was kind of nervous, because I have spoken before on here that I do have social anxiety, so going to a concert by myself, I'm like, okay, I don't know, and I was just nervous. But I'm like, you know what? I look good, I feel good, so I'm gonna make the most of it. I sit down in my seat, And I'm like, okay, so I have two people next to me. Let me try to, see, if anybody wants to talk. So the person next to me, I don't think she really wanted to talk. I'm like, okay, never mind. The person next to me, I'm like, I started off by saying, I can't believe we're really here. Like, we're really about to witness Beyonce, right? And she was like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. She was so sweet. I don't know what her name was, but she was really nice. So shout out to her. She was like, yeah, I can't believe this. My son, actually, he's the one that brought me out here. That's my son and that's his boyfriend. He's gay. When I tell you I was caught off guard, I'm like, ooh. I'm like, okay, thank you for letting me know that. She just said it so loudly. She was like, he's gay. I mean, kudos to her for being proud and, accepting. But damn, lady, like just putting his business out there. And you just met me 30 seconds ago, right? The lights go out, and, the music starts, and then you see the queen, the queen comes out, Beyonce, and there's just something, and this is just me, right? Because only two people could give me this type of feeling, and that's Beyonce and Mariah Carey. Those two are my queens, and Madonna, give or take. But those two, yeah, they'll just bring out all these emotions out of me, right? So I see her, and I had a pretty decent seat. Like, I had a good seat. So I could see everything. The stage is right there. The stage is beautiful too, by the way. So she's coming out, she has the mic on, and I'm like, wow, that's really Beyonce. Like, this is really crazy. Like, we're in the same room together again. I just saw her like 2-3 years ago, and here we are again. When I meet people, when the conversation starts anything about Beyonce, it's so telling. You could tell a lot about how the person answers when you say, oh, what do you think about Beyonce? Or what do you think about her music? Or what do you think about this when it comes to her? The way they respond, it tells you everything that they are as a person, in my opinion. And the second that you start trashing her, and to me, I just feel like, yeah, that's a red flag. You could go that way, because it's just like, why? And this is not even just to be a kiss ass, because if Beyonce, people could say she's a capitalist, she's this, that, and the third. Okay, yeah, and so what? You do realize, we're on a floating rock in the middle of the universe. So what? So she comes out, and I'm like, Beyonce, I'm just screaming. All that social anxiety, right out the window, right? So I was happy about that. And surprisingly, I knew most of the album of her Cowboy Carter Tour. Not every single song like I do Renaissance, but for the most part, I kept up with her, and she had a good mix of just, old songs to new songs that she has now. And honestly, this is just me. I was one of the people that was just like, I don't want her to perform anything from Renaissance on this tour. Why? Because I feel like Renaissance was just such a beautiful, iconic moment that it's not that I don't want to relive it again. It's just, I feel like that's one of those things that you just relive one time and you can't experience that type of magic all over again, right? So I don't want it, not tainted, but I just want it to be a memory from right then, But I'm like, okay, she's gonna do it. It's fine. And then that's when America Has a Problem came on. And, all those thoughts that I just said 2 seconds ago, all of that went out the window too. Because as soon as she said, that booty gonna do what it want to, when I tell you, you would have thought that I was dancing for rent money or something, the way I was on the stands. And there's just but so much space in your seat and all the seats and stuff. So I was trying not to, elbow a bitch next to me or whatever. But I'm just like, okay, you're not really kind of moving. The lady next to me, she was kind of, moving here and there. But I'm just over here that booty gonna do what it want to. Can't hit it one time, multiple. I'm like, damn, Beyonce, can't hit it one time, multiple. You freak. Protector. I believe that's the song that she did when, she had Blue Ivy. Blue Ivy, that's a whole different thing. But, Blue Ivy came out, and Blue Ivy, to see her progress from Renaissance to now, honestly, Beyonce, I will say this, that your crown is slipping. Your crown is slipping a little bit, and you need to take it back from Blue, because she's kind of snatching it away from you. And I don't know, I feel like by the time the third act comes, I feel like we're not going to see Beyonce on a horse. We're going to see Blue Ivy on the horse. It's not even going to be about you anymore, because at this point, I feel like she's the main highlight. Her choreography is just so impressive. From Renaissance, she did good then. But now, and then on top of that, when she came out to Deja Vu is probably my number one favorite song by Beyonce and music video. I just love the choreography. And when she did it, she did the that, and then she did the whole thing. And then first of all, before she got to the choreography, Blue Ivy did a nasty walk. She was just dun, 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 dun. And then she took off her cowboy hat. She threw it over there. I'm like, wow, Blue Ivy, that cowboy hat probably cost like $10,000. And she's just, strutting down the runway. And I'm like, wow, just like her mom, right? Like, it's just so impressive. I can't even remember what I was doing at 13 that was anything impressive like this. I don't even think I knew how to tie my shoes properly or do math homework properly. Yet Blue Ivy, I mean, she was just, baby, I'm so it's deja vu. Like, it's just so, and that wasn't even the only choreography that she did. She did like everything with Beyonce. She was just all over the place with Beyonce in a good way. So then Rumi came out, and, I believe at my show, the second night, Miss Tina came out as well. Rumi came out. She was so adorable. I mean, she was so excited to be there. At this point, I think a month in, she's in Jersey right now. Yeah, she's kind of over this whole concert situation. At my show, she was excited. She was full of energy. By now, when she comes out, she was like, okay, yeah, let's get this over with. Go ahead, Mom. You could hug me. Blue, yeah, you could do whatever you do with your hands, and let's just get this over with. But she's so adorable. And it was just so annoying to see all these stupid speculations from everybody, say, oh, she's this, she's that, or why she's acting like this. You do realize she's a child, right? Like, she's allowed to express herself and show excitement. Like, I am telling you, like, people, especially like the anti-Beyonce fans, they just want her and her family. They just want everything to be miserable when it comes to Beyonce, her children, and her everything, right? I mean, the one person that we should be talking shit about is her husband, but, he wasn't there. At least he was backstage, thankfully. And then my favorite song of the album, Two Hands to Heaven, she started playing it, and, I put my phone away. I'm like, okay, I'm about to do the choreography, and, Beyonce did the choreography, you grip, I grind, you taste this wine. I'm pretty sure that we were all doing it in the crowd too, but, it's just my favorite song. Such a beautiful song, right? So I had a really good time with that. Levi Jeans was also good. I love the verse where she's like, let me rattle your snake with my venom, denim on denim on denim on denim. I'm like, ooh, I'm just waiting to use that on an Instagram caption. Let me rattle that snake with my venom. Like, ugh, Beyonce, you're so nasty. What really surprised me, though, is that she performed Single Ladies. Beyonce is very known for, notorious for mixing songs, and then she switches it up like 2 seconds later. Like, you think that she's about to perform something, and then she's like, psych. Wrong lyrics, bitch. It's this song. But she actually performed Single Ladies, and I don't think that she's performed that song in years, I think. That and Irreplaceable. Irreplaceable is another one. When it came on, I'm like, okay, Beyonce, you could, she's about to play the song for like 2 seconds, and then as soon as we're about to sing, she's gonna switch it up, right? I know your tricks. I'm not falling for it. So I just stood there and I'm not singing. Next thing you know, she starts singing the actual lyrics, and she sings the whole song, and I'm like, oh, like she's actually going through with it. Like, she's not breaking a promise. And I believe that this night was the night that the two mechanical arms, when Beyonce starts doing the choreography to Cozy, one of the arms almost whacked her in the face, because I believe that they didn't put the little label on the floor of where to stand or how far to be from the mechanical arms. So if you see from different angles on TikTok or online, you see her kind of like looking all nervous, like, okay, where am I standing? Or, what am I doing? And luckily, I mean, Beyonce being Beyonce, she knew exactly where to stand just enough not to get hit, because then the mechanical arms, it comes down and it almost missed her face. And you could tell, it came down and she kind of jumped a little bit back, and, she was doing her little choreography. And, could you imagine if the thing would have hit her in the face? I mean, the beehive right there in the VIP section in the front, I'm pretty sure that they would have ran on stage, and they probably would have jumped those mechanical arms. Those two mechanical arms, I'm pretty sure that one of them got fired. I almost cried at the end because, you feel everything coming to an end. You feel everything coming to a wrap, and you know that this is probably going to be the last time you see her, unless, you're crazy and you buy another ticket for a different show. But until Act 3, we probably won't see her, right? So she gets down and she starts saying all her goodbyes. Like, I have it on my Instagram. It's the very last slide that I posted. She was just like, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for looking beautiful. Thank you for, driving here, and thank you for loving me. And, I got goosebumps again just thinking about it. But it's just the way she says it is just so genuine, in my opinion. I feel like she genuinely means it. Oh, I got merch. Let me show you. So I got this. Listen, Beyonce, I love you, but $80 for a fucking shirt? Like, you lost your fucking mind. Like, I already supported by buying a ticket. But this is my merch. You know, this is what they give you this for free. Right before you go in, and it lights up. Like, they light it up for you with each different song or whatever you're doing, whatever's happening. They change it from, like, I think red, white, or blue. So you have different colors every step of this, like, whatever song is playing, right? And it's a little bracelet. But, you know, this is my merch, so it could be like a necklace. It could be like, you know, I saw somebody on TikTok last night. They made it into like a phone case type of thing to hold like this. It could be, you know, for sleeping. It could be, a bow tie or whatever. It could be many things. But yeah, this is my thing. Honestly, I should have collected all of these because there's a giant basket of it. And I'm like, what if I sell these on TikTok? Or, you know, I don't know. It could be merch or something, but it was such a beautiful time, and honestly, I know it's been a month, but I want to go to the Vegas show so badly. The very last show on the 26th of July. I want to go so badly, but everybody I keep asking, like, oh, should I go? Should I go? They're like, no, you should save money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, like, where's the bad influences? Like, fuck saving money. Like, but anyways, overall, it was a beautiful show. Again, I have to say it was better than the Renaissance concert simply just because of where I was mentally. Like, I just had a really good time. The mixes were good, the songs were good, and you know, it was Cowboy Carter and Renaissance combined with a little, you know, a bit of throwback songs from before. And I'm pretty sure that Act 3 is going to be the same thing. Allegedly, it might be a rock album, so I'm excited about that too, to see what, you know, she brings to that. I'll miss you, Beyonce. You know, she really is a standard, and I don't want to go to anybody else's concert if it's not her, because you're just not going to live up to it. I'm sorry. I see all these other videos of these other performances, and I'm like, that's it? Like, where's your mechanical arms? But anyways, let me know if you went to the concert, if you're planning on going to the concert. Are you going to multiple shows? What are you wearing? Do you like my outfit, you know, in the pictures and everything? Let me know down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.